Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last class of UI5 and Fiori training, we talked about how to do table control and how to create our first Fiori application. In today's session, we will go ahead and discuss more interesting controls about Fiori. Unfortunately, could not get so much of time to practice and complete the exercise which Raji has created last time for flipping the model. I'm still trying to figure out. I could only spend 2 hours over the weekend to look into the solution, but I could not find the one. So hopefully by today and tomorrow, I will be able to post the solution in our training blog. So stay tuned for the same. Let's get started then, and we will now quickly go on and try to extend our Fiori application which we have created by far. So let me just go back, and what we are now going to do is we are going to create two views, and we want to do a navigation between these two views. So what I'll be doing is we will be having two different views, and we will see navigating from first view to the second view, and then coming back and forth between these two views in a Fiori based app. Okay, this is what we want to do. Okay, so let's create our view 1, and then we'll also create our view 2, and then we want to navigate between these two views. So let's go and try and achieve this. So as we have seen in the previous class of SAP Fiori, that whenever we want to create a Fiori application, they all should be encapsulated. All the views must be encapsulated inside a container, app container, right? This is what we have seen by far. So let me just quickly go back and switch to my first Fiori app, and we have created a very simple Fiori application with one liner, one pager, which is just displaying a simple Fiori page. This is what we have done by far. You can see, oops, how come these list items have come? Yeah, I think I showed you towards the end the drag and drop. Because of that, these list items have come up. So maybe I will quickly remove them. So I just go back and remove this list control out of here. And now what I'm going to do is I'll create another view, and I will then show you navigation from this view to another one. Right click on the main project, say new SAP view. Just keep the view name as namespace. So first of all, our namespace is important. What's the namespace we gave? The namespace which we gave was Fiori. Okay, so right click new SAP 5. Fiori is the namespace, and then say view 2. I say next and say finish. You would see now it's been added. Let's go to view 2 quickly, and also the controller 2 as well. And in this, now I'm just going to keep the page part. You see, by default it always adds an app also. I'm not going to keep that. I'm just going to only keep the page object, which is enough for me to display a view, because view should always return a page inside of a Fiori app. And I say second view. I'm just going to add a button inside this called back button. Okay, so I just give the text for the button as back button, which will take you back to the first screen, and then a press action, and I say on back. Clear? So that's a very simple button I have added as part of our Fiori page 2, view 2. And now we come to view 1. You can see there's a button over here on press, and what I want to do is when you click on press button, I want to take you to the second view. Now before we really get into it, let's go ahead and instantiate our view 2 also and add it as part of my app control. Remember, all the views in Fiori which you want to display has to be part of your pages aggregation of app control. So that's what I'm doing now. So the ID is ID view 2, then we have view name as Fiori dot view 2. That's a namespace, and followed by the name of the view, SAP UI core MVC view type dot XML. Perfect. So these are all the two views now part of my app object. Clear? You can see Fiori view 2. So view 2 is the name of the view. You can see here V is capital, view 2. Clear? And I think yes, the view folder is missing. We have to put the folder name in which the view exists. Correct. Both the views are now part of it. What do you think? Which view will be displayed when I run my app? Which view out of these two will be displayed when I run my app? Anyone? The main one, the first one will be displayed. Though both are part of it, it means the app control recognizes these views. But by default, the first one which you added will be displayed. Let's come back and experience it. So I can come back, refresh. You see it's displaying my first view, main view at the moment on the UI. Clear everyone? At this moment, the first view is being displayed. Now, what I want to do is I click on the button and it should take me to the second view. How would that can be achieved? Very simple. Let's give an ID to our app control. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the object of the app control. Now, if you really look at this overall purview of your or your structure of your application, what you exactly have it, you have an app control. Okay, this app control inside have a one view called main view, and then this also has a view called view 2. Correct? You have two objects as part of it. Now if I want to navigate between these two, how can I do that? Now imagine these two are brothers, and these two brothers are having a parent. Okay, and they don't talk to each other. Okay, let's say they have a fight between both of these brothers. Now if the brother 1 has to go to brother 2 and get some work done, brother 1 cannot talk to brother 2. They have a fight. So what is that way to get the work done by brother 2? Anyone? What will you do if you have your fight with your sibling? Sibling is not listening to you. What will you do? You will go to your parent. Correct? That's what will happen. You will talk to your parents. You will say, hey, dad, mom, he's not listening to me. Can you do this for me? And what parent does, then parent guides the brother 2 to do something. Okay, so rather than directly going to your sibling, you are going by your parent. So that's what exactly happens here. Main view can don't have authority to give commands to view 2. Main view can talk to its parent, who is the app, and app then does this command to the sibling, the view 2. And same way, the other way around, when you I want to navigate back, the view 2 talks to the app, the parent, and then parent gives a command to load the main view. Clear? That's the flow. That's why you see the app control is so important. So now we'll go to the system and experience it quickly. So what we'll do is we have to now obtain the parent object inside of my main controller. So what I'll do is I'll come here and I'll tell the system that this dot get view gives me the my current view object dot get parent. This gives me the object of app control, guys. This gives me the object of app control. So say var o app control equals to this thing, and now I can say o app dot 2, and I can give the ID of the view 2 to navigate to the second view, guys. That's the beauty of it. So now I can navigate to the second view. That's my ID of view 2. So let's come back here, experience it quickly. So you can just want to see the ID again, just to confirm ID view 2 is the ID. So now you see I am telling my current view to get me the parent, and once I get the parent, with the parent I can navigate. Clear? Let's come back and test it. So I can come here, refresh. Watch carefully, guys. I click on the button and voila, I am now navigated to second view. Did you observe that you are on a second view now? You've been navigated. What shall I do to navigate back? It's not working. What do you do now? Just now I explained you what did we do to talk to the sibling. What do you do to navigate back to the first view? Anybody? Anyone? What do you do? Just now what did we do? What do you now do to navigate back to the first one? Yes, talk to the parent. You are in the second view. Go to controller 2 and check the view 2. It has an on back action. Just implement your on back action function, curly braces, var o app equals to this dot get view. Now this time it gives you the view 2 object. View 2 also has same parent. You get the parent object and then say oh app dot to, and I say id main. I want to navigate back to the main view. That's what my code is. Save this. Let's come back and refresh. Experience it now. So click on the button. It takes to the next screen. Click on the back. Voila. What an amazing application. Congratulations. You have successfully achieved navigation back and forth between two views inside of Fiori application. How simple it is. See guys. Isn't it? Superb. Yeah. Can you see this? It's moving over. And this API, how do I know that there is a two method in the app control? Anyone? How do Anubhav know that there is a two method available as part of app control? Anyone? What do you think? Do I know it? No, I don't know. I just get to go to SDK. SDK is my best friend. SDK tells me everything. Okay. So I go to UI5 SDK, and UI5 SDK helps me to find out what is the API available for this app control. Let's go and check with SDK. There's definitely a API called to API, a to method at the app control level. So I just come and search here app control. You can go to app control and you will find here methods. So in a minute you will see all the methods will be loaded for the app control, and then you can go and explore the method which we had used. So you can just come here, and I don't find the to method here guys. What do I do? I don't find the to method here. What do I do? There's no to method here. What do I do? What do I do? I don't have a to method here. What do I do? Go to the parent class. Parent class is the nav container class. Let's go to nav container and search for a method, and let's come down. Can you see there's a to method? Yes, there is a to method. Navigates to the next page with drill down semantic and given default animation. You can also choose, you see signature. First is the page ID to which you want to navigate. Second is transition name. You want to give a different effect while you're transienting between one view to another view. The default effect is slide. You have other effects like flip, fade, show. There are different effects you can see here. Maybe let's quickly try that up. So what I want is I want to give a maybe a flip effect. So I can just come back to my code, and when I'm navigating from first view to second view, I want to give a flip effect. So I just put it here, flip. And when I'm navigating back, I want to give a different effect. Probably I want to give a show effect, not a slide effect. And save everything, and let's come back and experience. So you would now see a different effect. When I click on the button, you would see instead of doing a slide, it will do a flip. Click and you see it's doing a flip. When I see back, it directly shows me the view 1. Okay, that's the beauty guys. You can see the amazing capabilities of Fiori API, thanks to SDK helping me to find out the right methods, the right signature, the right parameters to pass to a corresponding API and the method. Okay, clear everyone? How did we build our navigation? Now I want to also look at a sample program. So let's go to sample. So sample is the best way to experience how standard is built. Okay, this is the best way to experience how standard is built. So you can come here to the app control, and let's search for, okay, maybe search for a page control. Here it is. You see 6 different samples for a page control. You can come inside of one of the page control, and you can see a nice cute sample over here. Central title, there's a search field, there is some paragraph, there are some toolbar buttons at the bottom. How did they create this page? Click on this button on the top right corner, and you would see that all the XML is printed in front of you to experience this sample. Yeah, this is the whole XML of the page which you were seeing in the sample. You can just use this, reuse this as it is, copy and paste, and you will get your output. But I don't recommend you to yet do a copy paste until you get some experience on this. Okay, so no copy paste until you have some fair idea about stuff. Clear, guys? So no copy paste at that point, but still you can get a feel of how exactly this page is built. Clear? So you see they are also using page and a title property, and you see now I want to give it a mobile like look. So in mobile like look, what typically happens, you don't get the navigation buttons here. You typically get your navigation buttons on the top. So somewhere like here you get a button which says forward navigation, and on the next view you get a back button like this, which will help you to navigate back to the previous screen. Okay, so this is how you typically get your navigation button in a mobile device. So I want to also give a mobile like feel. So rather than having navigation buttons here, I want to keep them on the top. So let's see how did they create it in the sample. So in the sample also you can see there is a button here, there is also a back button over here. How did they created it? Let's swipe to the code, and you will find here there is something called header content aggregation, because it has something inside, which means it's an aggregation. Header content aggregation has a button called action as an icon, and then you have a subheader which has a toolbar, and toolbar has a search field, and then you also see there is a show nav button equals to true property. So these things is what is making it possible to enable the back and forward button on the UI. So maybe on the first view I want header content aggregation. Inside that I want to put a button. Okay, maybe I just quickly open another session of SDK and show you these directly in the API reference of the page control. So I go to page control, and now in the page control what I will explore is the aggregation. And you can come here aggregation, and you see there is a subheader aggregation which I can use to put a toolbar. There is a header content aggregation which can be used to put right side content of the page on the top. Yeah, so I'll use header content. So let me just use that. So let's go back to our view, and I'll go to our first view. Here it is. And now at the page level we have something called header content. Yeah, HADER content. C is capital, and inside it's an aggregation, and it can have n number of controls. 0 to n is the cardinality. So inside this now I'll put a button control, and I just give an icon for the button, and now I just say press. And the beauty of MVC, I can attach the same press action over here which I coded earlier, because it can reuse, the view can reuse the methods. That's the beauty of MVC. One method you have written, and that can be used by multiple view elements. That's what the power of modularization. Just the way you put a class, a method, and that method you can call hundreds of places wherever you like. Right, guys? So that's what exactly is happening over here. Now I save this, and now I want to give an icon. Now you say, Anubhav, how do you know which icon, how to give an icon in UI5? It's very simple. SAP UI5 offers us something called an icon explorer. Okay, you can go to tools, and now you can come down here. You see an icon explorer. Okay, and you can click on this icon explorer. It launch a new window. Okay, it launches a new window, and then you will be seeing in a minute. Let me in the meantime just go back to the API reference of page. So here, let's see in a minute. Yes, you see a lot of beautiful icons of UI5 and Fiori are available, guys, for you to use. Wow, super Fiori. Thank you so much. And I want to see some action icon. What does it mean? You see there are different action icons. Which one you want to choose? Maybe I want to use a map icon. So this is the icon map. And now whenever you want to use an icon, what you need to do is prefix this with something called SAP hyphen icon. So when you're putting it, remember the name of the icon. You can also copy from here. Go back to web IDE, put SAP hyphen icon colon slash slash. That's a kind of annotation which says I want to here refer an icon from standard SAP library. This is always fixed and it is case sensitive. So put SAP hyphen icon colon slash slash and your icon name. To bring in an icon, I just put map icon, save it, and now you see on your user interface I can come back, refresh, voila, Do you all see an icon on the top right corner of my page? Is it visible to all of you, the map icon which I have taken up? Isn't it visible? Visible or not visible? Anyone? Yes, that's my icon. Now what will happen if I click? Will it navigate or not navigate? What do you think? Will it navigate or not navigate? It will, because you see, on press action, we are doing navigation, and that's also attached to this one also, this button also. Same action is attached. I click here and voila, it's navigating me to the next screen. Superb. That's my icon navigation. Let me switch to the view too, and I'm just gonna add a property here called show nav button and say on nav. Okay, that's what I do. Or maybe sorry, we can just do on sorry, so show nav button should be a boolean property, the value is true. I can go back and show you in SDK. So go to SDK and you can see the properties here. So there is a title property for page. Similarly, there is a property called nav button text. There is a property called show nav button somewhere. Let me just see. Show nav button, here it is. It's a boolean property. The value of this is default is false. Yeah, I make it true to display a back button on the UI. Okay, so this will bring in a back button. But how do I attach to an action of this? Let's look at the events. Do you see any event which will trigger when I click on my nav button, on my back button on the UI? Do you see an event on which will trigger when I click on back button, which I am creating? Yes, you see nav button press. That's the event which I can use, nav button press, on my page level to navigate back. So let's come back, and now here this is my page. I'm enabling the nav button. At the same time I have an action, and I will put the same action handler on back which I had put it earlier for my main button, and it would navigate you back to the previous screen. Let's come back and test it. Refresh, click on the map, navigates you, and voila, you see a back button over here. Will it navigate back or not? Anyone? Will this navigate you back to the previous screen or not? Yes or no? Yes, of course, because you see on back is an nav button press action which I have attached. Click on this, it navigating you back to the previous screen. Congratulations, your first mobile like screen is built. We don't need these buttons anymore on the main screen because it's a mobile like view. So I can choose the code. I can put a control shift slash to comment out a piece of code in web IDE. The shortcut is control shift slash to comment out a piece of code. I can come back here too and control shift slash comment out this piece of code as well, and let's come back, experience it. Wow, what a beautiful Fiori app, mobile like application displaying. You can see I've squeezed the screen to very minimal, just to look like a 3.5 inches mobile device, and it is adapting it itself automatically. And if I make it big, you see it adapts it automatically. I don't have to really put much of effort. That's the beauty. That's called responsive web design. Fiori is responsive. It automatically adapts itself according to the device in which you run. No matter what is the screen size, it will always make sure that it will adapt itself automatically. Okay, now you want to change this icon to a forward arrow. You can do that. Go back to icon explorer and search for an arrow, and maybe I can choose arrow right. That's an icon I can choose. Yes, you can see when I click on this, it also shows me on the right side the code. I can directly copy the code from here, from the clipboard into the clipboard, and can come back and go to my main view. Here it is, and instead of map icon, paste it this icon arrow right. Let's come back and refresh. It's so simple to do that. Actually, there is no rocket science in it. Refresh, and you see this icon has been changed. Instead of a map to a right arrow. Isn't it right? Isn't that simple, guys? That's how they do it. They don't do any magic. The people who are building complex Fiori app, they are also humans. If they can do it, why can't you do it? You can also do it, guys. It's possible. Completely possible. You are better than them because you are getting trained. They are not at all trained. They are still doing it. You are trained. You know the meaning of every line. Okay. You are better than anybody. You are Anubhav's student, you are better than anybody. Okay, so have that confidence in you. Confidence is the key for success, key for doing hard work. Okay, and without hard work there is no way out. You have to do hard work. How to control browser back and forward? So right now, very good question, perfect question. This is what I was expecting, at least somebody is using. So you see I can do forward, and now when I use this back button, ideally what should happen? Anyone, when I click on this back button, ideally what should happen? It should take you back to the previous screen. But see what will happen. I click on browser back. It takes me to my Google page. Is this a right behavior? Is this a right behavior? You went from first view to second view, and I want to go back to the previous screen using browser back button. Watch here. This back will take you, definitely it's working, but this back of the browser is not taking you to the previous screen. That's the reason we use something called router concept in SAP UI5. Okay guys, this is why we use a router concept in SAP UI5, to make use of this back and forward button. Those who worked on WebDin Pro and BSP, is it possible to support this back and forward button of browser in WebDin Pro and BSP? Anybody? Is it possible to support this browser back and forth button in WebDin Pro and BSP? It's not possible. You can't support in WebDin Pro and BSP. But is it possible this to support in UI5 and Fiori? Yes, it is possible. We have a concept of router in SAP UI5 which helps you to do that. We are yet far away to reach to this concept. When the right time comes, I will give you the dose. Right now, if I give you the dose of antibiotic, you will die. Okay, so wait for the right time to come. You will definitely know this concept. Did you get the first reason why to use router? Did you get your first reason why to use router concept for navigation? Did you get your first reason why to use router concept for navigation? Did you get your first reason of why to use router concept for navigation? Did you get your first reason for why to use router concept for the first time? Anybody? Did you get your first reason why to use router? So the browser back and forward button are not supported when we use navigation using app.to API. Okay, it's not supported. Okay, this is the disadvantage. Okay, disadvantage of app container based navigation. First disadvantage. Second, what else? What's the next disadvantage? Let me tell you. Now, let's do one thing. Watch carefully, guys. This is very important to understand this concept. I will go to our training blog. Okay, this is our training blog. We all aware of it, our training blog. Now, one day, one fine day, one of my student comes to me, Anubhav, I got the blog access, very good. But Anubhav, I don't know how to go to where to find session recordings, where to find videos. Now guys, tell me, is it so difficult for you to go and navigate through this and find the right place where the videos are posted? Is it so difficult, guys, to check where the session recordings are? Of course not. Okay, but sometimes some people are like that. That's not a problem. So what I did, I told him, open Internet Explorer or Chrome browser. A browser is a tool to access internet. Internet is a wide area network to access connected computers. There are service providers who provide, I wrote whole story, who provide internet connection like Airtel, Jio in India. and T-Mobile and companies like in US who are service provider for internet connection. You get an internet connection from them. Make sure that you connect to internet. There are two ways to connect to internet. One is using LAN, one is using Wi-Fi. So if you are connected using Wi-Fi, make sure you type your password correctly. Open your browser, type URL. This whole URL you have to type. So step number one, type URL. This step number two, try to find a navigation toolbar, which is this toolbar. In this toolbar, step number three, find a section called session recording. Step number four, click on that. Step number five, wait for videos to load. Okay, this is what I've done. Now, do you think it's ample explanatory for the person to now reach to the right section where session recordings are present? So let's imagine a complex Fiori app where you have lots of deep navigation. You click on a button, it takes you somewhere. Then you click on a list, it takes you somewhere. Then you click on a table item, it takes you somewhere. So you are doing a deep navigation somewhere on a screen. Okay. Now to that deep navigation, if I by chance click on refresh button, what will happen? Do I need to then navigate all over again? By any chance, if I click on refresh button, do I need to navigate all over again? Yes. If it doesn't store the state of the UI, I have to navigate all over again. You might see these things in some websites. You went so much deep inside, and when you refresh by any chance, it doesn't reload that page on which you were on to. All right, so these are all the problems of today's world of websites or mobile apps that doesn't restore the state of the UI. Now the beauty of this site is it does. If I take you to, let's say, session presentation, now what I need to do, it makes my life so easy. Watch carefully on the top. Okay, so earlier when I was on home page, the URL was this, but when I go to session presentation and now I do this, can you tell me what change do you see? Anyone? Can you tell me what change do you see in the URL when I navigate to a extra, when I navigate to a particular section? What change do you see? Can you tell me what change do you see, guys? You see the URL endpoint is changing. Yeah, you see URL endpoint, and that's exactly the beauty is. If I have to done tell him where to find session recording, I don't have to write all this Ramayan. I can simply go and tell, this is the link. You copy this link. Okay, copy this link, go to your browser, paste this link, press enter, and you will directly be taken to study material. You see, it's directly taking me study material. There is literally zero navigation. It directly opens up the page where you want to be. Isn't it a powerful option, guys? So every page is marked as a unique tag name, guys. Every page is marked as a unique tag name. Every page is marked as a unique tag name. This is called URL endpoint or tag name, guys. Okay, this is the concept which is also used by router. So currently the problem is in our application. If I show you, I can come back. Let me, I'm on second view. If I refresh, what will happen? Ideally, what should happen? If I refresh, I'm on second view. What should happen ideally? Ideally, what should happen? It should restore the second view only when I refresh. It should not start from view 1, right? It should restore the state of the UI. I was on second view before refresh, and it should restore the second view only if I'm writing a good application. But when I do a refresh, you see what happens. It loaded my first view, which means again I have to navigate all the way till the second view. Howsoever deep it is, I have to do all that. It's a bad design. That's also another disadvantage of this navigation. So there is no restore of state of UI, guys. Clear, everyone? There is no restore of state. Example, like our blog. Okay, in our training blog, we have every page is marked as with a unique tag name. Hope you all will remember this example. This example is what I will be asking you in the future when I will teach you router concept. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? What is the disadvantage of this navigation, what we are doing currently? I didn't told you the solution yet, but I just gave you an indication of what are all the problems of this navigation. Is that clear or not? Yes or no? Do you want me to repeat? Guys, is that clear or not? Clear? Perfect. Let's move on. So this is the disadvantage of current navigation. We're going to solve this problem later, but let's enhance our UI first of all. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a search field on my first view. Okay, that's what the first thing I'm going to do. Let's add a search field on my first view, and I can type in something, let's say Anubhav, on my first view. And when I type in something, click on navigate, it should display the second view title to Anubhav. Okay, it should change title of second view to Anubhav. That's what I want to do. Okay, it should change title of my second view to Anubhav. Let's try to achieve this now. So I go back, and what I will do is I will first of all put a search field in my main view. So go to the main view. I will close all the unwanted windows, just work with the views so that I don't get confused. And now I'll just come here and I'm going to put a search field in the content. So let's put a search field in the content, but that won't help you. You've got to make sure that search field is always displayed on the top. So check the sample, how the sample is built. So come back to the UI5 sample for the page, and you see they are putting search field inside a toolbar, and that toolbar they are putting inside a subheader. Okay, this is how they are putting it. We have to also follow standard. So if you come here, you see the search field always displayed on the top, always and always. So how did they achieve this? By putting something called subheader. Inside subheader they put a toolbar, inside that they put a search field. Let's look at this aggregation subheader on the page. So I come to the page, go to aggregation, and you see there is a subheader aggregation which accepts an I bar control only. It doesn't accept any control, it only accepts I bar. Clear guys? Which means you have to pass a toolbar object inside the subheader. Similarly in the footer also they are expecting only a toolbar only. So let's create a subheader and a footer. So subheader is for the top area, footer is for the bottom area. Clear? So let's go back, and I just put a subheader. Make sure it's case sensitive, and then I'll also put a footer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the subheader with the toolbar inside. And then I'm just gonna also put a toolbar over here. Clear? So we put two toolbars, one is in subheader, one is in footer. And now inside of these two toolbars I'm going to put a button. So first of all, let me put a button only for the top toolbar, a search field over here, and then save it. So I just put a toolbar in the bottom, in the footer of the page, and in the subheader I put a toolbar with a search field. Two things I had put it. You would see now it in the result of your app. I refresh, and oops, there is an error. Something is wrong. What do you do when you don't see an output? Who is your friend who will help you when there is something wrong? Perfect answer, Raji. F12 is your friend. This is your friend, guys. This is your best friend who will help you. Okay, many times student, they all work. Imagine in our current batch I have 35 students, guys. Current batch I have 35 students. All 35 of you started using Fiori. You are practicing, and you found an issue. Your app is not working. You didn't even bother to check console, simply writing an email, Anubhav, it's not working. What will happen? I will get 35 emails, and whole day I am just sitting and replying to your emails. Will I be able to deliver new content to you? Will I be able to get some advanced content which is bare minimum for real time in my learning series? Will I be able to do that? And will I be also able to address some genuine issues which some of you are facing? Absolutely no. So guys, I need your cooperation. When something goes bad, when something not run, please show some effort. Please put some effort from your side. Every single email, I'm not saying don't write me emails, don't write me your questions. Do that, but do it productively. Use Anubhav properly. Don't use Anubhav for things which you can handle yourself. It becomes many times very, very frustrating to work with Fiori and get the right output because you are new to it. And it's absolutely fine. It happens with everyone. Raji, can you tell students, can you tell everyone by unmuting your line, were you always able to get your output in first go? Were you always able to get your output in
No,
first go?
definitely not.
Definitely no. See, saying no, definitely
For
no.
example, for that flip model, I sit around 3 to 5 years
Three to 5 hours, she said, for flip model example, guys.
because that method is not working.
See, see, guys. So even Anubhav, I sat about 2 to 3 hours over the weekend on that. Still, I was not able to achieve the drop down working. Believe me, it happens with everyone. You are not the only one who is facing challenges in life. Everyone here in the room, we all face challenges in our life. We all face it, but we don't stop learning. So, guys, please, it's a urge from my side. Before writing an email for doubts, at least show some effort. Please put some effort from your side. At least bother to look at the console. What console is saying? Console is your best friend sitting next to you. Console will definitely help you. And there is something wrong now in this case. SAP M subheader. We have done something wrong. Let's go back and check what's that which we have done something wrong. This is subheader. I think I had put it at the wrong place. I put it inside the content. It is part of an aggregation of page directly. You see who is the parent of subheader. Parent I putting as a content. Is content is the parent for subheader. Absolutely wrong place. I put it at the wrong place. The parent of subheader is the page control, not the content. It's the page who is the header, who is the parent for subheader, guys. You can check that quickly. Back to UI5 SDK, you see it's directly part of a page control. This aggregation, what you seeing, these aggregation, they are directly part of page control. They are not part of content. Content itself is an aggregation of page. Content is a children of page. How can you put subheader inside content? That's not allowed. Subheader is part of page control. That's what exactly the right relation. We did a mess with the relation, and that's why it's not working. It's telling cannot find it. Of course, there are rules of the game. You need to follow those rules to make it work. I cut it from here, I put it here, I save this. Let me just do a complete alignment. You can control all, right click and choose an option called beautify. You can also do control alt B to beautify your code. Save this. Let's come back and refresh one more time. So I come back and refresh, and voila, beautiful. That's my screen with a search field on the top all the time, and a bottom toolbar is displayed with a black color border with a light gray color background. That's my toolbar, guys. Hope you are able to understand how important it is to go through SDK, see the right relationship before really driving it out. And everybody faces this. When I started learning Fiori, it took me about 1 year. Why it took 1 year? Because there was nobody to guide me. I was learning everything myself on my own, researching all over the internet, every single blog, every single link, every single video, what possible I could. And the same situation today, if somebody would like to learn Fiori, material is there on internet, lot of blogs, lot of videos, but there is nobody who guide you in the right direction. And that's why you have to come to Anubhav, because we have a flow in our course. We have completely things in a right flow, right direction, so that you start from base, start from very basic foundation, and then you move to advance. Okay, so that's a search field. Now if I click, I mentioned something over here and click on the button, it should now display me the data which I entered on my first screen, on my first input field. How can I achieve this? I have to create a global model. a JSON model, and that JSON model I will set this data, and that same model data I will bind with the title of my second view. Watch it carefully. Let's go ahead and create a model. So right click here, new folder. I create a model folder, and I'm just going to go inside, create a new file, models.js, as we've been doing, scaffolding template, SAP UI define, and then all the dependencies goes in. The first dependency is SAP UI model, JSON model, and then I just put comma function, and I say JSON model, and then I put here curly braces, and then I'm gonna put all the dependent methods here. So I say create global JSON model function, curly braces, return new. What you can also do is just say var o model equals to new JSON model, and then you say o model dot set data, and I'm just gonna put a sample JSON data inside, and I can say some property called search. Whatever I like, I can put that, and I can just put a blank value at the moment in this JSON, and then I set return this JSON out, return o model out of this method. That's what I've done. I can save this. There's an issue here. What's the issue? You see unexpected token. There is some extra unexpected token over here. Let me just check where is that. ESLint unexpected token starting of parenthesis, which is unexpected. Let me be very sure. That's correct only. Return is there inside a function. This function is also looks okay. Let me be very sure. Just check it carefully. Can you tell me the line number where you're seeing this issue? This is what it is. Yes. This is also okay. Closing of curly braces here also it's okay. No problem. Let me remove this first of all. Yeah. Let me just create again. Create global JSON model. It's giving me an error. I got it, guys. The problem is this is a function, and this function must return curly braces like this. This is what we should return out of our function of scaffolding, and inside this return we have to put all our functions. That was the problem. I save it, works well. That's my scaffolding for models. And now I just go to the first view. In the init method, I'll uncomment this out. Just do a control slash, uncommented out this guy, and now I just create my model. So let's put the dependency on our model. So namespace is Fiori slash model folder slash models, and then come here and say my model. That's my object, and I say this dot. I'm gonna set the model at the app level, guys. So what I'll do is I'll just say var o model equals to this dot, and I'm just gonna call the reusable method create global JSON model. That creates me a model object, and I'm just gonna set this at the app level. Get core dot set model, and you see this is gonna be my default model for the application. So I can just go ahead and use the path. What will be the path for my search? Anyone, what will be the path for my search now? Anyone who will tell me what's the path? What's the path for my search? Slash search, you can see starting with the curly braces slash and search. Perfect answer, Raji. It's slash search. Let's bind our input field with slash search. So let's go to the first view, and this is my search field, and there is a value property which I'm going to bind it curly braces slash search. Okay, and same thing I am now going to bind with the title of my second view. I go back, and here was the title which was hard coded. Let me put here slash search. You see both of them are binded with the same property, and they both pointing to same model. That's my global JSON model, which is the default JSON model. They both pointing to the same property. The moment I change the value by one binding, it will reflect on the second bind naturally. That's the power of binding. Hope you understood this example. Somebody long back asked me, Anubhav, if I want to transfer data from one view to another view. This is the technique, guys. Global JSON model. Let's come back and experience it. Watch a magic. I just put my website name www.onlinefiorytrainings.com, and I'm just gonna click on navigate, and voila, you see the magic happening here. It automatically changed. Do you see the power of binding, guys, and power of global model? Is this clear, everyone? What exactly is happening here? The power of global JSON model. How to transfer data from one view to another view. That's magic. Clear, everyone? What did we do? Binding does all of it for you. Now, moving next, I want to add some toolbar buttons in the bottom. Let's do that. So let's go ahead to the first one. Maybe I want to add toolbar button on the second view. So I go to my second view. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. And in this second view, I'll also add a footer, and inside a toolbar. And I'm just going to add a button inside the toolbar, text called save icon, and then a press. Save this. Okay, I saved it, and you should now see a footer in the second application, second page, with a toolbar at the bottom with a save button. Let's go ahead and test it. Refresh. I navigate, and now I see a save button at the bottom of the page. Let's make it as capital to look it better. Refresh and just navigate. You see the save button. Now, do you see, guys, this save button? And let's compare it with this with the button which you get in standard application. So let's come back to the sample over here, and let's see here how the buttons are placed. What do you see is a difference, guys, between this one where the buttons are paste plotted. So I'll just show you a sample page. How can I make this guy disappear? Let me just check how to make this disappear. Yeah, I think this one makes it disappear. Oops, sorry, I think I changed to left right mode, which is like a mode changing. I have to switch back to the previous mode. Okay, it's taking time. So if you compare it with a standard Fiori app, let me just go and open the standard Fiori app, which I could not open the other day. sapfiorytrial.com. Okay, I go to sapfiorytrial.com, see it in action, and I see the launchpad of SAP Fiori will be loaded. Yes, this is the launchpad. You see, the other day we were trying to open, it was not opening. Today it's opening, and I can go to now any of the standard Fiori application. Let's say my leave request, and now if I just switch it to mobile like view, what do you see, guys, between this standard Fiori app and our app? What do you see in the toolbar where the buttons are placed? Anyone? Is this the right direction? What do you see the difference between these two? The standard one and ours. Buttons are placed always on the right hand side in the bottom toolbar. Ours is on the left hand side. It should be here. Clear? Now, let me ask next difficult question. Why do you think SAP standard app has the buttons on the right hand side, not on the left hand side? What do you think? What is the reason why SAP Fiori decided to put all the buttons on the right hand side? Perfect answer. So let me show you a picture to explain that pretty well. Most of the world population what is the most of the world population is using their devices? In which hand do they use their device? Anyone? In which hand most of the world population use their device? In the right hand side, correct? In their right hand side. So which means they hold their mobile device on the right hand side palm, and which finger do they use to operate the device? You must have also done that in your life. When you hold it in the right hand side palm, which finger? You use your thumb finger to operate it. When you use thumb finger to operate the device, and if your device is, let's say, 5 inches screen or 6 inches screen, what will happen? Will your thumb will be able to access a button on the UI if it is placed on the left hand side? If the button is placed here, or if a button is placed which is easily accessible, which button is easily accessible from your thumb? Of course, the button which is on the right hand side. That's called user experience, guys. This is why Fiori, because a button which you place on the right hand side easily accessible for user gets a great user experience. However, the same button on a 6 inches mobile device, if you put it on the left hand side, you really have a trouble for using that. And that's why Fiori guideline says the toolbar button should be kept on the right hand side. Is that clear? Is this is one of the best example you can give to explain in interview what is UX. Clear, guys? This is all about user experience. This is what is about user experience. This is exactly about user experience. Okay, clear everyone about the UX? Why UX? What is Fiori UX? Hope you got some feel today about Fiori UX. So that's why you have to place it. How did they place their button on the right hand side? How did they place it? Let's go back and check it. How did they place it? Let me come back and experience how did they place it. So maybe I just go on the top and check the sample. Of course, let's go back and check the sample. Okay, it's kind of not loading here. Let me just reload my SDK. Okay, it's not really loading. So maybe I go to sample here itself. I said search for a page object. Here is my page object, and I go to the sample, and you see they put their buttons on the right hand side, right? Now how did they do it? Let's go back to the toolbar, footer toolbar, and that's my footer toolbar. What do you think so special inside this toolbar which places their button on the right side? Anyone? What do you think is so special to keep the buttons on the right side? What do you think is that they've done? There is a special control called toolbar spacer which keeps the button on the right side. This is the control which you got to use. Let's go ahead and use this control, toolbar spacer. I go back here, go to the toolbar and put the toolbar spacer control, and then that's it. Save this. We're done. Let's come back and refresh the page. Here it is, refresh and go to the next screen, and you see your button has been moved on the right hand side of the page. Gives you best user experience to the user. Clear everyone? Why and how to put the button on the right side of the page to keep it same as like standard Fiori application. Okay, clear? Is that clear to everyone? How did we do that? So with that, it's a wrap on today's class. Time for an exercise for all of you. What you now need to do is get me a JSON which will be used in the next class. I want everyone to prepare a JSON exercise. What you need to do, prepare a JSON for a fruit store which is selling variety of fruits. This JSON has three major components. All three are array. Okay, so the first component is, so if I just want to quickly drive out the structure, you have to first put fruits JSON table. Next one, you have to put city tables. Just put the city which is famous for a particular fruit, and then put some supplier name. So three entities sets you have to create as part of this JSON: fruits, city, and suppliers. Okay, in the fruits you have to put name of the fruit, color of the fruit, type of the fruit, what is the property of this fruit, whether it is an alkaline or a citrus, that's the type of the fruit. So name, color, type, what is its health benefit, health ben, okay, that you have to put. What is it taste, okay, and then also a picture of a fruit. How do you get a picture? Go to internet, search for Google, get a picture for a fruit. Maybe I want to search for any of the fruit on internet, so I can quickly go to any of the fruit image which I will search, get the URL of that fruit picture. So maybe I search for apple, search for apple, and you will see a lot of pictures being loaded, images. And now I see maybe this one, right click and say copy image address. Okay, copy image address, and that you have to put in the picture like this. You see I pasted it, it works. So that you have to go do a copy of that picture and paste it there. So that these are all the properties I want inside your first entity, fruits. So how many you want to put? Maybe put about 25 fruits entries. Then come is city, put a city name and famous for. So what is Nagpur famous for? Anyone? What is Nagpur famous for? Anyone been into Nagpur? What is Nagpur famous for? Oranges. Perfect. So that's what you have to put. So put some city name, maybe your city as well, and put what is it famous for. These two properties I want, and I want the state property, in which state this exists. So maybe put about 10 items, 10 cities. And then finally comes his supplier names. So you have to put the name of the supplier, the city of the supplier from where he is supplying, what is the person name, contact name, who is supplying it, some random values you can put it. Okay, uh, and then you can also put okay, there's one more property in the fruit which I missed it. Put availability. Is this fruit available in stock or not in stock at the moment? Okay, that you have to put it, whether it is available in stock or not in stock. There are three options: one is available, one is out of stock, and next is discontinued. Three properties you have to put: available, out of stock, and discontinued. These three one of these three statuses has to be there for every fruit. So just divide it out of 25, all three of them properly. Then name, city, contact name, phone number, and date, since when he is supplier for us. So put about 15 entries of supplier as well. Okay, 15 entries. Clear everyone this exercise? What you need to build? Let's see who creates a JSON. Validate your JSON from jasonlin.com and then send that JSON to me. Best JSON will be used in our entire application built from here onward. So we'll be building an end-to-end Fiori app on top of this JSON. That's the purpose of the JSON. So the best JSON will go into the system and will be shared with everyone. That JSON will be used for creating the end-to-end application. Clear? That's why I am giving this exercise. Okay, now there's a question here: can you explain why slash search JSON didn't use structure? It's a structure only. So if you come back here and look at your JSON model, it's a structure only. This is a structure only. So you see curly braces, your property name, property value. It's a structure. You can add more properties. You can put some property called name. It's a structure only. The structure can also have one field. It is not necessary that structure must have multiple fields. Okay, it's not necessary that structure has multiple fields. It can also have one field. So you can, it's your choice, you put more properties also. It's a structure. This whole thing is a structure. What represents an array in JSON? Anyone? What represents array into JSON? What represents array into JSON? What represents array? Array is represented by brackets. That's an array. This is structure only. Clear? Swami, is that clear? Your doubt? That is, structure was having only one property. Okay, so this is the structure. You can also separate it out. Okay, You can separate it out, create a new model, and that's what you all need to do. Create a file, and I say my data.json, paste it here. That's my structure. This is also okay, absolutely fine. So my data JSON, and now instead of set data, do load data. Just come here and then just do o model dot load data. Just put path. Absolutely fine, no problem. So just do an end, save this. Let's come back to the app. Where is my app gone? Here it is. Refresh. Always test it when you make such a change. So I say critical change tested. Click. Yes, it works. You see it's working. It's working fine. So I will send this code to you. Please be prepared. Please do send me your JSON so I can evaluate it by today evening 8 o'clock, and then I can accordingly use, and I will announce your name who is the winner for the JSON in the next class. Any questions before we close? Anyone? Is that clear to everyone? How did we share data between views, navigation, toolbars, aggregations once again with regard to the page, and how to look at the samples? With that, then it's a wrap on today's class. See you tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.